Good afternoon, everybody. This is Mark. We're back here for the daily recap. It is Tuesday, so the market finally closed above the key 15,000 level. We obviously have been above the 1,600 level on the S&Ps for a period of time. Is it going to get new investors in? That's the question I think everybody's asking. This rally's for real. The selling may go away. Obviously, there's always a risk that that's happening. It doesn't feel like it's happening anytime soon, at least the way the market's acting. We did sell off a little bit this morning, recovered very nicely. It was individual sell-offs, which again, that's where this market's moving. The S&P stayed up, the NASDAQ was down a little bit, some of the high beta stocks, some of the NASDAQs were down, but we continue to get rotation from a day-to-day point of view. You really have to be on top of it. Some days makes a whole lot of sense to be what you're involved with, other days it does not, and that's part of the, that's part of the process. That's part of how this job is playing, and that's how the market's really reacting at this point. The banks, I talked about it yesterday morning, still acting well. They had another strong day. In the tape, BAC actually went to highs and then sold off a little bit. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe BAC, Citi could rest a little bit, but I still think Goldman Sachs breaking a little bit of a descending channel actually has a chance to get to 152.50, 155 near term, and then maybe takes a break. So certainly keep it on the radar. The banks have been, certainly they've been lagging, but I think they're beginning to play catch up. So it's something I think needs to be on the radar. Lots of earning plays that people highlighted from an earnings front. MELI on the long side, EOG on the long side, ININ, a little guy. A lot of these things gapped up. A lot of them didn't do a whole lot after the gap up. FOSL, another one. But they gapped up to almost the highs, and then they just rested. That's what happened with this market. I mean, you had some ebbs and flows. You obviously had some selling early in the morning, and then you had some stabilization for the most part, and then new buying came in right towards the end of the day. But the reality is it was pretty muted action. The volume, to me, felt very light. But I don't think anything's changed. I think it's just a matter of doing your chart work, figuring out where the money's flowing for that day, and where it's not flowing, because that's what it is. It's the haves and have-nots. And try to really take advantage of what's in front of you. Apple reversed a little bit, but still closed fine. It needs a break. Google, same thing, actually reversed a little bit more, closed fine. They just need a break. So just because they're not the perfect long anymore, they might not be the perfect short either. Just respect the fact that you've got to look at smaller time frames to ideally make some trades accordingly and be able to capitalize on what's in front of you. That goes across the board in basically a number of stocks that I've been watching. NFLX actually closed below the key 210 level. So, there's an argument that it could try to fill that gap, and that's, going back to around 190, like 199-ish. It looks like 198. So keep that on the radar, but I think if it fills that gap, I think it'll probably be buyable accordingly. So it's something I'm certainly watching. LinkedIn also is trying to recover a little bit. It's tough to really get involved right here. It's not a pretty pattern, but I still been saying, it's recovering and it's holding its 50-day. So to me, as long as it holds above the 50-day, the longer it does that, the better the signs across the board. Biotech still hanging, but nothing too exciting. I know I've been trying AMGN, and it's hanging. But one thing I would actually note, and I just pulled this up as it was standing there, look at the 8-day. It should hold this 8-day 104-ish. So risk versus reward, to me, it's a pretty good risk versus reward scenario. Three big weeks down. Obviously needs an inside week. We'll have to see. It's really been lackluster, but it's something I'm going to keep on the radar. Go across the board with CELG and BIIB, REGN. They still are leadership stocks. They just need some breaks if they haven't already taken one. And if they've taken one, they probably are going to start to recover at some point shortly. FSLR got hit today. Obviously, the earnings were not great. Here's the daily chart. You could see broken, but might not be done yet. We'll have to wait and see if it holds the 21-day moving average. That's the first line of defense, and we'll see what happens. I mean, that's really what's coming to play. Gold gap down a little bit, didn't really give you a play. I have not traded gold, but to me, maybe above 143.50, it's actually might be a trigger long on the. It's sort of a bull flag. Getting over that bull flag. I don't know how, it's a gapper, so it's either going to gap up or gap down. That's how this trades. That would be the next trade I'd be looking for. even though I've been thinking it's been a short for a little while, but I'm not so sure right now based on how it's trading. I've sort of abandoned that idea, at least for the period of time. Oils have been strong. Home builders are hanging in there. Pick your poison. That's where we're at. This market remains strong. You got to be vigilant with your prices. You got to be vigilant with, when you get involved. But at the same time, the trend continues to be your friend. And I'm not deviating from that. I did take advantage of some shorts this morning, but at the same time, 11 o'clock, 11:30, the buying commenced in certain issues, and that's really how this market continues to trade. And why try to reinvent the wheel? Do what the market's been telling us and has been doing for the last 3-4 months, and it's buying on pullbacks at certain levels, and certainly after the swoon down by 10:45 to 11:30 seems to be when they start slowing down and try to find bids. That's the play. Tomorrow we'll certainly have some more calls for you guys once we do our chart work, but hopefully you took advantage of today. Not an easy day in my opinion, but at the same time, every day we're sort of getting a new playbook, and you got to be prepared. So hopefully you had a good day, at least took advantage of some of it, because there's definitely some price movement, and we'll be back here tomorrow.
I'm Evan Lazarus, Chief Knowledge Officer for T3Live.com. You don't become a great trader by watching videos and taking courses. You become a great trader through live screen time. Accelerate that learning curve by tapping into the experience of seasoned professionals. Currently, we're offering 5-day free trials to each of our 4 mentoring rooms. In the mentoring rooms, we teach our strategies in the context of the live market. To sign up for a free trial, go to the T3 Live education page, fill out the form, and get started when the next trading session begins. We hope to see you in one of our mentoring rooms.